Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for Will Work for Food. As you know, these programs are designed to not only educate, but also to help us feed our neighbors. We've been doing this since almost exactly to the day today for 3 years. We're closing in on $400,000 in donations. Anything at all that you can donate to your local food bank or to the food bank of our speaker would be fantastic. All greatly appreciated. Today, I get the the privilege, rather, of introducing our speaker. Today we have Kimberly Schreiber for the program Mediation Ethics Gameshow. I'm really excited about this one. This is going to be so different, so much fun. Kimberly Schreiber has 25 years of legal and mediation experience, international speaking and training, business consulting, accounting, and a fractional in-house counsel. Her expertise includes alternative dispute resolution, contract law, family law, DUI law, curriculum development, face reading, nonverbal communication, Lean Six Sigma, business startups, arbitration, and negotiation. Oh my gosh, Kimberly, your resume is outstanding. It just goes on and on and on. So I will, of course, let you introduce yourself, talk about the program that you're going to be putting forward, introduce your food bank. We're so glad that you were able to join us and support the Will Work for Food initiative. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you for a great introduction and welcome to everyone. Bear with me for just a minute here because I want to share my screen and just talk to you for a second about the food bank that I chose. And I'm looking here. I've got my business partner, David Adams, here. If you are here because you know us, then hi. I know it got hit on LinkedIn. And if you're one of our students from India or from Europe, we love having you here and thank you so much. David, you want to help me out here for just a second and show me how to switch to yeah. Normally it's fine. There it is. Okay. I'm like, all right. So...
That's your browser.
All right. So, okay, hold on. There we go. Is it, I guess, could you put in the chat if you can see the Urban Bicycle Food Ministry? If you don't mind, just stick it in the chat if you can see what I'm sharing. Or give me a thumbs up on the screen or something, because I'm sharing my screen. All right, I see it all coming in. Yes, got it. Okay, love it. So the food bank that I chose is the Urban Bicycle Food Ministry, and it's out of Memphis, Tennessee, which is someplace that I used to live. And basically, Urban Bicycle Food Ministry makes sandwiches and bikes around in downtown and gives food and ministry to homeless people mostly who are in need. And so I will stick, you can probably see here, there's a donate button, and I'm going to put that in the chat. Or if you just want to donate to your local food bank, that's also okay. So let me stick this in here. But I would love, I'm sure Lyle, who is the owner of that, would love to have some more donations because they're a pretty small organization. So again, it's ubfmmemphis.org. All right, so without further ado, let me go ahead and tell you what we're going to do today. So I don't know if you have ever been on Kahoot before, but we have given this presentation a few times overseas and different places, and everyone seems to love it. There's a little bit, so bear with me, of a learning curve getting into the game show itself, but once you're in, it's really fun. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up and start the game show. And what you do, we're pulling it up here. We're going to be in classic mode. And there's going to be a QR code or a way to join the chat or join the game up top. So you can either take your phone, if you want to play on your phone, even though we're on Zoom, and you can scan this QR code, or you can go to kahoot.it, or if you have Kahoot already, you can join the through the Kahoot app. If you're joining on kahoot.it, you'll need to enter that PIN that's there on the front of the screen, which is 775-3288, and it'll ask you to put in, we've had all kinds of people put in different funny names before. So hi, Elka. Hi, Jane, Bruce, Yvonne, Richard, Coco, Libby. You can set, if you want to be anonymous because you think you might be saying something controversial during the ethics game show, then yeah, somebody not telling. All right. So we definitely do not make you give your quote real name, but hi, Shorty. Hi, Jeff. Oh, Nina. So we'll just give everyone a couple of seconds here, like about 30 more seconds to get into. Hey, hey, hey. Is your name Albert? So we'll get into that in just a second. And so how the game show works, if you're playing, you don't have to join if you don't want to. If you just want to watch, that's fine. If you're on your phone, you will, you'll get to vote on some of the different ethics scenarios on your phone. And the questions will be up there. There's a timer for the questions. Hello, Daddy-O. All right. So this is kind of the excitement of the day here. All right. I think everyone that's joining. No, we still got a couple people. Hey, David. I have one more tech question. Sorry. So this is what's on our screen. What can we share? Is like how do we start the game
You
without?
need to minimize that. And then there's your start button.
Okay.
No one else could see that window. You're the only one.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. All right. All right. Here we go. And you can join if you get kicked out, you can join anytime. All right. So there's nothing, or if you decide to quit playing or something. If we were in person, there'd be a prize at the end. But since we're online today, there's not. All right. So we have several different interactive questions. The faster you answer, the more points you get. So even if 10 people all got the same answer, the person who answered correctly first gets the most points. You're competing against each other, but you're also learning and having fun. All right, let's try. All right, so what do you think about when I say the word ethics? This is not for points. So you can type your answer and you can see on the side of your screen, there's a countdown calendar, 19 seconds, 18, 17, 16. So there's a countdown there. You cannot change your answer. So if you answered too quickly and then you read through the question and think to yourself, darn it, that's not what I meant to say, it does not let you change your answer. So let's see what we have up here on the screen. All right. For some reason, the phone is ringing here. So hold on just a second. The joys of having things going on online. All right. So doing the right thing, not the right thing. Integrity, standards of behavior, honesty, fairness, rules, proper behavior, appropriate behavior. All those are great answers. I'd like to throw in my opinion, which is that ethics can also mean a gray area, because depending on your jurisdiction and depending on, I know that I teach a lot in Tennessee. I teach some mediation classes there, and we get ethics opinions, but they say if you ask for an ethics opinion, you can't rely on them if someone sues you or if someone wants to do something else. So I'd like to give you some food for thought there, that ethics can also be a gray area. All right. Going to have our first true or false question. Ethics are the same in every jurisdiction. Is that blue, which is true, or red, which is false? We see the answers coming in, 12 answers. Once all the answers are in, the timer automatically skips to the end. So if it hasn't skipped to the end, that means there's a couple more people. Ethics are the same in every jurisdiction. So what do we have? All right. One person said true and 16 people said false. And so the correct answer is false, because depending on where you live, and you're going to see some examples of that in the questions today, depending on where you live, ethics can be different. Some jurisdictions allow things that I, as a U.S. mediator, look at that and go, what? That can't be true. And we'll talk about that when we get to the questions on that. But just so you know that we're looking today at like an international standard, but every country and even every state within the U.S. can have different rules. All right, let's look. Oh, here we go. We got some competition going on. Yvonne, go on. All right, and Daddy-O, you're coming in a close second. You weren't quite quick enough. I hope I'm not saying everyone's name wrong. Zia or Jane, Shorty, looking good. All right, let's see here. Next question. Ethics are different in other jurisdictions, right? So we just said that's not a question. We need to know the ethics rules for our jurisdiction. So if you practice, I know I'm a member of the IMI, and I'm also a member of Grow Global, which is an organization that I founded with another mediator that lives in Poland. And if we were mediating in Poland, I would need to know the rules for Poland or for specifically Krakow if there were local rules. If I'm in Memphis, it's different than where I am currently residing, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. And Georgia mediator rules and Tennessee mediator rules are different. All right, let's take a look. Drop a pin because I'm excited to know this. You can look on your phone and drop a pin. You just move your finger around on the map and let us know where you're from. So you can put a pin on the map. There's no points for this, but so drop your pin, and then we'll see here in about 10 seconds where everyone is from today. Hopefully there's some of our international friends on here too, not just people from the US. All right. We got one person from the US or from Europe, but everybody else here in the United States. That's great. All right. Let's take a look. We have, normally when we do this, we have this. And by the way, this Kahoot will be active if it's something that you want to play somewhere. This will be, I think, active until the end of June. And so if you have the link, you could replay it, or you could look back through some of the questions and scenarios if you wanted to. All right. True or false? Get ready. There are model ethics standards. Model ethics standards. Is that true or false? 15 answers on the board. Get those answers in. 2 seconds left. All right. So the answer is every single person got it right. Let's hope, since we're all mediators and attorneys. Yes, of course. There are model ethics standards. Let's see who's winning. Oh, Zia moved up. Yvonne moved down. Elka's on the board. Hi, Elka. I know her personally, so thanks for joining today. All right. Let's take a look. So the answer is true. There are model mediation ethics rules, and obviously this would be a 10-hour long game, and it's not, because I promised to get you out on time. I respect your time. That there are model ethics rules for mediation, and we're going to cover some of those today. All right. So the model standards of conduct for mediators, the ones we're talking about today, were developed in 1994 and revised in 2005. Haven't been revised for a hot minute, I'm wondering if it might be time for that. All right, here's a quiz question. Who developed the model standards of conduct for mediators? The original ones, the ones we're talking about today. So is it the Association for Conflict Resolution, the ABA section of dispute resolution, the American Arbitration Association, or that crazy answer, the all of the above answer? All right, so let's see. The answer is all of the above. So we have some different answers here, but the majority of people got it correct. And by the way, if you have an incorrect answer, it takes points away. So, all right, let's look. Oh, Jane moving up. Yvonne still on there, Richard, Libby, and Daddio. Okay. So the answer is all of the above. Model rules were a collaborative effort, and that's great because we want arbitrators chiming in. We definitely wanted the ABA section of dispute resolution people chiming in. If you live in the US and you're not a member of the ADA dispute resolution section, you might want to look into joining. They have conferences and all sorts of materials, and it's a great place to network. Right. So they had 3 main goals when they made these model rules. They wanted to guide our conduct, our meaning mediators. They wanted to make sure that parties themselves were informed, right? We don't want people not knowing what mediation is because we want them to choose it. And then to promote public confidence. If the public knows that we have standards that we have to adhere to, then they are more confident in choosing mediation, and of course, in making sure that anything they sign will be valid and will fully and finally resolve their dispute. All right, here's another quiz. How many standards of conduct are covered by the rules? Is it 14, 9, 6, or 2? How many standards did they cover in the model rules of conduct? 2 seconds. All right, let's see. So interesting. A lot of people thought 14. So maybe you're learning something today. The answer is there are 9 standards of conduct in those model rules. Let's see who got that right. Not telling. All right, not telling's moving up. Libby, Coco, hi Elka, and Jane. Great to see everyone. All right. So there are 9 standards. We'll take a quick look at all the categories. We're definitely not going through all of those standards today, but at least wanted to let you know what they are. So the first, 1, 2, 3, 4, the first 5 are self-determination, impartiality, conflicts of interest, competence, confidentiality. The next 4, the last 4 of the 9, are quality of the process, advertising and solicitation. That's definitely something that's different everywhere. Fees and other charges, again, a huge difference in different countries and states on that. And then finally, the last standard, advancement of mediation practice. All right, so one of the things that I think is interesting, and they even acknowledge it in the standards themselves, are that some of the standards might be in conflict with each other and that it's a balancing act, but no one standard is better than another standard, or no one standard overrules another standard. So going back to our original question, what do you think of when I think of ethics? When you think of ethics, I think it's a gray area. All right, let's look next. Another quiz. Get ready to vote. This is a multi-select. Diego is ordered by the court to attend mediation. He's ordered by the court. Does this violate the principle of self-determination? Do you agree? You disagree? Or, maybe I just really don't know. I want to talk about it. Help me decide. All right. Ordered by the court to attend mediation. Does that violate self-determination? All right. So on this one, you can agree, you can disagree, or you can say maybe, like, we don't have a crystal clear answer on that. Some of the arguments that I've heard is, well, if you're court ordered to be there, how can you self-determine something because you didn't choose it? But the argument on the other side to that is, no one's forcing you to sign anything. No one's forcing you to come to a settlement. So while a lot of courts, especially in the US, have standing orders for mediation, I don't think there's a court that I work in Georgia or Tennessee that doesn't have a standing order for mediation. Now, there are also ways that you can petition the court to say, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to mediation. And you can normally ask the court to skip that. Of course, I'm never telling my clients to do that because I love mediation. But so there are some, there's some debate there on whether or not court-ordered mediation violates the principle of self-determination. But at the end of the day, it's our job as great attorneys and great mediators to remind the clients that everything's confidential and that we're not judges. And if they don't want to sign something, they don't have to. They definitely have the right, if they want to pay and take the extra time and they just don't feel like they're going to get what they need out of mediation, they have the right to go in front of a tribunal and have a trial, or have a judge or magistrate fact finder make the decision. Or we do this sometimes too, go to arbitration, med-arb, right? You go to mediation first, then arbitration, sometime med-arb-med. Arbitrator makes a decision, you go back to mediation to see if you can agree, and that sort of stuff. All right, let's look here. So Libby not telling, Coco is on a streak. Good job, Coco. 5 correct answers in a row. All right, let's look at. So what is the standard of self-determination? It is a voluntary, uncoerced decision. Each party makes free and informed choices as to the process and the outcome. And I added that bold. And again, this is being taken literally directly out of the model rules, model standards. Parties may exercise at any stage of a mediation, including mediator selection, process design, participation, or withdrawal. So self-determination says if they want to withdraw, they can, and they are making free and informed choices. Are they making free and informed choices if they're being court ordered to mediation? Again, that can be debated. All right, let's do another quiz. Mario accepts a mediation case. One of the parties is the Lindt, the chocolatier people. Mario owns 3 shares of Lindt stock. Is it ethical for him to accept that mediation case? Mario accepts a mediation case. Is it ethical? All right. What is the answer? So the model rules would say No, and we're going to talk about why. I just admitted somebody into the room. If you would like to join our game show and vote on the questions, then you go to kahoot.it. You can do that on your phone or in another browser window. And the game pin is there and it will just stay there at the bottom of the screen, 7753288. And we would love to have you join. You can put a nickname in, anything of your choice that's appropriate. All right. Let's look at the scoreboard. So we've got Libby still on that 6-answer streak, not Kellen moving up, Yvonne, Coco, and Elka still on the board. Good job, guys. All right. So model rules require a very high standard, at least as they were set and revised as of 2005. So let's look at the model rule. It says impartiality is freedom from favoritism, bias, or prejudice, avoiding even the appearance that you are partial. And again, anytime you see italics or bold or something, that's not in the actual rule. That's me kind of emphasizing that. So if a client found out later that you owned even a minimal amount of shares, or if someone in the public found that out, would it avoid even the slightest appearance that you were impartial? All right, let's go to the next one. Maria accepts free lunch that was ordered by one of the parties during the mediation. This is unethical, true or false? So one of the parties orders some lunch in, you're the mediator, and they're like, hey, would you like, a Subway sandwich? And they're paying for it. Make that clear. So, we got a good split. So it's unethical according to the model standards of conduct. Let's see why. After we check on Libby. Somebody lost their streak. We won't talk about it. Not telling. Coco, Elka, and Yvonne all staying up there in that top 5 of the game show. All right. While we can debate it, model ethics rules say no, but maybe it's different in your jurisdiction. Maybe there's an exception to the rule. Maybe I know a lot of states publish their mediation ethics opinions. So you are allowed to, of course you are. You can look through those model ethics rules and see how that looks. All right. So impartiality, neither give nor accept a gift, a favor, a loan, or other item of value that raises a question of actual or perceived impartiality. So that's kind of where we're getting our answer here. The model rules are very strict. And when you look at standard 2, are you impartial? Have you accepted a gift? Have you accepted a item of value, which in this case is a Subway sandwich or a Caesar salad? They're pretty strict on that. And we're also looking at neither give a gift. Can you give an ink pen with your mediation, center's name on it? I don't know. I would say there, under the model rules, there could be some question about that because you're giving a gift and it doesn't have a monetary value listed on there. It doesn't say you can't give or receive a gift over, 12 euro or over $10 or something like that. All right. Next quiz. Mediator has tickets to a football match. Mediator offers to give them to one of the parties who is a big fan. Is that ethical? Red for yes and blue for no. 10 seconds left. All right. Can you give? So spoiler alert, right? Everyone should have gotten that right. So we already talked about it. Let's see who answered quick. All right. Libby's still staying at that top spot. Coco not telling. Elka, Yvonne, everyone's doing very well. All right. So no, it doesn't matter that your client is a big fan. In model rules, we worry about perceived bias from the other party. In this case, those tickets are what we would consider that quote, other item of value. So nope. Next question, true or false? Model ethics rules can be in conflict with each other. If you were listening to me earlier at the beginning of the presentation, you already know the answer to this question. Can model ethics rules be in conflict with each other? True or false? True or false? All right, so the answer is true. All right, the one false person. If we were live and in person, I would call your name and ask you why you thought that. But let's move on. All right, who's moving up? Oh, Libby's still retaining that top spot, and by a significant point value there. Good job. That one rule may conflict with another rule, and no one rule or no one ring, right? No one ring rules them all. The standard, no one standard is more important than another standard. I think that's an interesting takeaway. All right, next quiz. We're cruising right along here. Mediator gives parties and their attorneys a free calendar and a pen with the mediator's name on it. Is this permissible? Yes, no, or maybe. Mediator gives parties and their attorneys a free calendar and a pen with the mediator's name on it, because we want some of those good referrals from those attorneys we're doing great mediations for. All right, so the answer is, right, yes, no, maybe. I mean, it can be permissible. Some states, some places allow you as a form of advertising to do that. Some places say that if it's de minimis value, you can do it. So there's a lot of correct answers there. Not telling, moving on up. All right, here we go. Impartiality. You may accept or give de minimis items or services that are provided to facilitate mediation or to respect cultural norms. So, I mean, unless that's like a Mont Blanc pen that you're engraving, right? Maybe that is a de minimis gift. And under standard 2 impartiality, if it's provided to facilitate mediation, maybe you're giving that pen because parties didn't bring a pen, or the attorney just kind of showed up and thought they were going to let you do a lot of the work, which is fine with me, but maybe they didn't bring an ink pen, or you're helping with a parenting plan. So you're looking at calendars and, oh, by the way, let's mark this calendar. And then you're going to let them take it home to reference that. And you see there in the last part, it says to respect cultural norms. So really knowing a little bit about your party and their cultural norms, especially if you're doing things with cultures that you don't normally interact with, or a culture you're not part of, then maybe giving a small gift or receiving a small gift is something that respects cultural norms. All right, this standard, right, standard 2 seems to apply a different rationale. You could give or accept de minimis gifts, but again, what is de minimis? It's not defined. What's de minimis to my 17-year-old son who works for minimum wage is not, thankfully, the same that it would be to me who has a regular job as an attorney or a mediator. And so something that may seem de minimis to you may not seem de minimis to the parties. It may be something that they are very, like the football tickets, right? Or I don't even want to say this out loud, but God forbid, like the Taylor Swift debacle with all those tickets. Those tickets were, over $1,000 once people started scalping them and stuff. Can you imagine if you tried to give that away? That's not de minimis. All right, let's look here. Next quiz. 2 months after mediation, one of the parties offers mediator Jack a job. Should Jack accept this job? 2 months after mediation, one of the parties offers mediator Jack a job. Should he accept the job? Yes or no? All right. So I have chosen the answer as the creator of the game show to be no. I know it can be argued both ways, and I'm going to tell you why here in a second. But we just also quickly, if you just joined our game show, you can go to kahoot.it and enter the game pin and join the game show if you want to participate live and vote on the mediation questions. And that web address and game pin will be at the bottom of the screen for the rest of the game show. All right, let's see. Oh, Yvonne moved up. Libby, man, she's going to be tough to get off that top spot there. Not Tellins on a streak with an answer streak of 3. Elka's on the board. All right, so there's no. So let's look at the standard and we can find out why I said that. Standard 3, conflicts of interest. Avoid a conflict of interest or the appearance of a conflict of interest during and after a mediation. So the question you would ask yourself is, if one of the parties found out, like, let's say you're doing insurance defense mediation, and which is where you have a party that was injured in some sort of accident, or their property was injured and they made an insurance claim, and you're mediating between that party and an insurance group, Geico or somebody like that, right? And then 2 months later, Geico hires you as their in-house counsel. How do you think that the party who you mediated for would feel? Would they feel like you, maybe if you were in caucus, you were trying to work it and get a job, or that you helped them out and were doing something more favorably? And then how does that play for public confidence in mediation and things like that? So avoiding even the appearance of a conflict of interest during the mediation, but also after. How long after? After. Now, if Jack took that job 10 years later, that might be a little different, especially if he hadn't had any other cases that was a one-off, or he was doing insurance defense for a couple of years and then did something else for 8 years and then got offered a job. Again, ethics, gray area. Here we go. Next quiz question. Sam became a certified commercial mediator last week. An attorney offers Sam a complex divorce case. Should Sam accept? So Sam is a commercial mediator, and now an attorney calls up and offers him a complex divorce case. Should Sam accept? Could he? Yes. Should he? Probably not. Now, of course, you can say, well, maybe he's already trained as a family mediator, or maybe he's been a divorce attorney for 15 years or something, but we're just kind of working off the number of characters that Kahoot allows me to put in here. But in general, he probably doesn't have the training or the background. So let's take a look here and see. Libby's still doing well. Coco, Vaughn, not telling, and Elka. All right. So this issue assumes, of course, that Sam's never mediated a complex divorce case, and he's not listed or certified as a family mediation person. This may be a great case for co-mediation. So if Sam really wanted to take that case and wanted to try out some family mediation and see if that is something that he enjoyed, or she, that would be a great time to, phone a friend and call somebody who's done some family mediation and get some experience, but probably not taking that if you haven't been trained in family mediation. And you see here, I put listed or certified. Some states certify their mediators. A lot of states do not certify you, meaning that they don't back you. They just vet that you have been trained, like you've taken the 40 hours, and they put you on a list. So they call you a listed mediator versus a certified mediator. There's the distinction there. All right. So we're talking about competence here, which is for mediate only when the mediator has the necessary competence to satisfy the reasonable expectations of the parties. So if the mediator has never taken a family mediator certification or listing course, then maybe they don't have the competence to do that. But again, you can if you want to grab a co-mediator and try that. New quiz question. The ABA dispute resolution section announces the next conference date and location. Should you attend? Yes or no? Should you attend? We got 3 seconds left on the clock. All right. So when we look at the standard here in a second, you'll see why I said yes to that. Looking at the scoreboard, Elka's moving up. Oh, Richard's on the board. Hi, Richard. Welcome back. It's been a hot minute. Okay, let's look here. All right. So there are tons of conferences. Sure, you should attend. There are plenty of conferences and advanced skills workshops all over the world. I know my business partners and I go to all sorts of mediation competitions where we're judging other students. There's a huge one every year in Paris. That's always the first week of February. It's a great place to meet other mediators and learn about things that they're doing. I know IMI sponsors different things. There's a bunch of different conferences that you could attend and ways to help out other people or other baby mediators, right? And upcoming law students by judging at various international mediation competitions. So why did I say that? Standard 4 is competence. A mediator should, that's why I had the word should, attend educational programs and related activities to maintain and enhance the mediator's knowledge and skills, which is probably why you're here today during your either breakfast tea or lunch hour, hanging out with me, because you have continuing mediation education credits that you have to get in every year or every other year if you live in some jurisdictions. All right, next quiz question. After mediation, Celine comes home and tells her partner all about the details of the day. Is that ethical? After mediation, Celine comes home and tells her partner all about that mediation and what happened and what was said in caucus and all that. All right. So is that ethical? No, that is not ethical. You read answerers. Let's don't do that. And here's why. All right. Libby, Coco, Yvonne, Elka, and Richard still maintaining your spots there. All right. Let's look at the next standard and find out why. So under standard 5, confidentiality, you should not communicate to any non-participant information about how the parties acted in the mediation. So that's pretty clear, right? That's crystal clear in the model standards that that's confidential, and that's why we have agreement to mediate, right? That anybody who's in that room signing things, we need their signature that says that they understand that normally nothing said in mediation can be used in court, and that anything that they sign is binding, and that they understand that you are not acting in the role of a judge. All of those things, there's all sorts of things that we put in our contracts, right, to protect us and to protect the parties so that they realize that mediation is confidential. So we shouldn't be, yakety yakking about that to our spouses or boyfriends, girlfriends, kids, whoever else, besties, all that. Okay, next quiz question. Mediator learns during caucus sessions that a divorcing couple wants to reconcile. Can the mediator recommend counseling? So the mediator learns during caucus. Each party says, hey, I don't know if I want this, but they're in 2 separate rooms, right? That's what caucus means. Everyone here knows that, I'm assuming. 2 seconds left. Get your answers in. And they recommend counseling. So some people say yes, some people say no. So according to model standards, the answer is yes, and we're going to find out why here in just a second. So scoreboard. Libby, Yvonne, Coco, Elka, and Richard kind of moving around. 3 players have reached a 4-answer streak. The mediator can stop mediation and give the parties an opportunity to reconcile. That is true. Someone said in the comments, but can't you tell war stories in a non-identifying way when you're presenting trainers to others? Yes, absolutely. And so we were talking more about, gossiping with your spouse, which everybody likes to do, or even, telling your best friend or something. I'm talking about that, not in the context of, yes, if you want to pull identifying information, we write cases all the time for mediation competitions, and every single one of them is based on a real mediation that somebody in our group of problem writers actually did. But of course, we change the names. A lot of times we change the gender. As long as someone can't tell that, hey, that's my case, right? As long as it's not something like that, then you're fine. Yes, you can definitely write a problem based on a real life situation, or share something at training or at a conference, or get opinions from someone about how you could have handled something differently or how they would have handled it. Definitely. Yes. Thanks. Great question. All right. Standard 6, quality of the process. A mediator may recommend, getting back to our divorcing parties, a mediator may recommend, when appropriate, that consider resolving their dispute through arbitration, counseling, specifically, neutral evaluation, or another process. So don't be afraid. What these model standards are telling us is, don't be afraid if you find out that this divorcing couple may want to try counseling for 6 months to a year and halt their divorce proceedings to see if they can work things out. That's absolutely, you can ask each one of them in the caucus, hey, can I share that with the other person? And you already know probably from the first caucus that if someone's already told you they want to reconcile and you're in the second room and you're hearing the same thing, asking both parties if you can share that information and then recommending some counseling is permitted under standard 6. All right, next, true or false. Mediator advertises on their websites, I help dads get more time with their children. True or false that this is ethical? A mediator is advertising, I help dads get more time with their children. 5 seconds left. We got lots of answers coming in. All right. So the answer to that is false, right? You cannot advertise that you're helping dads more than moms. Be the implication, maybe, or could be how the public, remember, we're promoting public confidence in mediation. And let's take a look. Libby still, see, let me put like a star by her name. She's Star Libby. I want to meet this Libby. All right. So this violates the advertising section of the model rules, that type of advertising. So let's look at why. Standard 7, advertising and solicitation. You shall not solicit in a manner that gives the appearance, not that you actually would do it, the appearance of partiality for or against a party, or anything that would undermine the integrity of the mediation process. So while, yes, you probably do help some dads get more time with their kids, maybe you help some moms get more time with their kids, you can't advertise that. Next question. Mediator Ann has the parties sign a written agreement that states her fee is 10% of the settlement amount. Is this ethical? My fee as mediator Ann is 10% of whatever you settle for. Is that ethical? True or false? All right, so the answer is false. Every single person got it right. Hilarious and great. All right, including Libby, Coco, Yvonne, Elka, and Richard. So no way, right? Now, this is the one thing that I find incredible about some countries overseas. They allow that type of fee. And I don't understand how that they could say that you wouldn't be biased if you are settling something, if you know that you can get someone to settle for more money and you're getting a literal percentage of it, then I'm not sure. Like, I see why the model rules would say that you can't do that. All right, standard 8, which is fees and other charges. A mediator should not enter into a fee agreement that is contingent upon the result of the mediation or the amount of the settlement. So that, to me, in the model rules anyway, it's crystal clear that you cannot do that. All right, next quiz question. A mediator should mediate without charging the parties. Do you agree? Mediators should mediate for free. Do you agree with that? Okay, for some reason, we're not waiting 227 seconds. So I'll wait till I get about 15 or 16 answers in, and then we'll skip the timer. Yeah, I do not know how that happened. All right, I'm going to give you 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 2, 1, get your answers in, and we'll see here. All right, so people say sometimes. Some people say yes, some people say no. All right, let's see what the model standard says. Let's see if that tripped anybody up. All right. Oh, Zia and MM, welcome to the board. Welcome back for Zia. All right, pro bono, striving to make mediation accessible to those who elect to use it, including providing services at a reduced rate or on a pro bono basis as appropriate. But we all have to earn a living, right? So, standard 9, advancement of mediation practice. A mediator should act in a manner that advances the practice of mediation, which includes providing services at reduced rates or on a pro bono basis as appropriate. But if you've got 2 divorcing parties who make, $100,000 a year, that's not appropriate, right? And so that's kind of where we land on the model rule, standard number 9. All right, so we've only covered a few of the 9 standards. Again, there's the list of the first, 1, 2, 3 for the first 6, and then we'll see the last 3 on the next page. We talked about advertising, solicitation fees, and advancement of mediation. So let's review. True or false? There are new model rules for ODR. True or false? There are new model rules for ODR. All right, so the answer to that is true. There are new model rules for ODR. All right. Elka's back up there. True. Let's look at one of the model ODR standards, which can be found online. So if you want to take your phone and take a screenshot of this, or if you're on your computer, this is recorded, and willworkforfood, our sponsoring organization, has asked me if I would let them put this on their YouTube channel. So absolutely, yes. So if you wanted to go back and watch this, or you didn't grab this, icodr.org/standards. So the International Council for ODR has put their own model standards in place for online dispute resolution. So I'm going to do something different here. We're going to take our slider, which is sliding our finger or our mouse across. How many model standards for ODR do you think that the ICODR developed? Anywhere from, well, we know it's not 0. Between 0 and 15 is our answer. All right. So Most people said 7, but the answer is the same as the other model rules, which there are 9 standards for online dispute resolution. Look at that scoreboard. All right. So, yep, 9 standards. Let's take a quick look at those. The first 5 of 9 standards, mediation online needs to be accessible, accountable, competent, confidential, equal, fair and impartial, legal, secure, and transparent. And if you go to that website, you can download those model standards because they, if you do any sort of online dispute resolution. Self-determination in ODR is impacted by what? Access to technology, the ability to find the link in your email, like today, right? Good internet connections, or all of the above. What impacts self-determination in online dispute resolution? All right, all of the above. All of the above. All right, good job. Parties and attorneys need access to all of these to make ODR a success. Model standards of competency should include proficiency in online technology, written ground rules for the parties, both of those things, or neither of those things. Proficiency in online technology, written ground rules for the parties, or neither. All right. So the answer is both of those things. We need both of those things. All right. I'm kind of going through here quickly because I want to be respectful of your time. Both these standards of competency work in tandem. They protect the mediator and the parties and the attorneys that are representing the parties. Model confidentiality rules should include what? A ban on recording, a commitment from the parties that no one is observing, caution when screen sharing, versus emailing document, you're screen sharing it, or all of the above. What should they include? All right, again, answer is all of the above. We need all of that. All right, still got those top 5 there. So written rules and extra time to explain the rules are an extra step that should be completed when using ODR as your dispute resolution method. Parties should appear on screen as speaker only rather than all parties on screen. Do you agree or disagree? Should appear on screen as speaker only rather than all parties on the screen. All right. So I just thought this was interesting, right? I agree or disagree. So why would disagree be the answer, right? Oh, good job, MM. All right. So notice the word should. Every mediation is different. Sometimes too many people on the screen can cause slowdowns and glitches. However, as a mediator, I know that when all parties are on the screen, I know what's happening and I know that all parties are present and that they're paying attention. All right. Mediators should not use free software with time limits. Agree or disagree? Mediators should not use free software with time limits. All right. So the answer is, I agree. I think Zoom, well, we'll talk about that in a second. I know Zoom has limits. All right. So nothing is worse than having to stop mediation or an online meeting because you've run out of time in the session. So let's take a quick look. What is the time limit for a mediation session for a free Zoom account? So again, we're going to use our slider there. Who knows what the time limit for a free mediation session is? All right. So the answer is it 60 minutes? Nope. It is not 11. It's like, come on, give us the answer. All right. The answer is 40 minutes. So if you can resolve your case in 40 minutes or less, my hat is off to you. All right. Time limit is 40 minutes. We are down to our last 6 slides. Not all of them are questions. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the game show. It's best to use an encrypted secure host for online sessions. Is that true or false? It's best to use an encrypted. All right. So the answer to that is true, right? That's obvious. So they talk about that in the model standards. Mediators should use genuine and reasonable efforts to ensure the security of the parties in the documents. All right. The International Ethics Quiz is over. Is that true or false? Everyone's like, please, Lord, let that be true. Oh, true or false? My little Magnum PI gift. I love it. Okay. So the answer to that is true. False. And here's 20 more questions. So now for the important stuff. This is something we use online, so I'm going to skip that. We have no control over how long it takes the CLE commission, right, to post your stuff. This is my email, info@training resolved. We do sell online continuing mediation education and online CLE. We try to keep our fees a reasonable rate, but if you want to get on to trainingresolved.com, we have approved classes in, I believe, 15 or 16 states. Most of what we do is in the South, but and in New York. But anyway, thank you so much for your time today. And now here's what everyone has been waiting for, which is the podium. Let's see. Oh, look, when we ended, go Zia, go Zia, go Vaughn, go Vaughn. And then, of course, I think we all know who's in the spotlight with the gold star. The gold medal of the day is Libby, with runners up, 4th place being MM and 5th place being Coco. So thank you so much for your time today. And I appreciate all of that. And if you have any questions, info@Training Resolved. We didn't have a ton of time. Well, we never do for questions when we do a game show format. I hope you have found this at least a little more fun and entertaining than just sitting around listening to me tell those war stories or talk about things, and you got to participate. Do not forget to donate to your local food bank. We would love to support that. And of course, if you want to support ours, it's still in the chat. But thank you very much. And we